So now we are going to be getting into 6.2, which looks at rates. So very similar to ratios, but there's a twist. So now a rate is a comparison of two quantities with different units. So unlike the previous section where the units cancel out, we're not going to be able to cancel these units out for these problems. So some examples: $200 for 10 hours, 630 miles on 21 gallons of gas. So again, we're talking about apples and oranges, so we can't cancel those units out. So the only difference is we're going to have to keep those units in our answers. So very important, don't lose your units. So write each rate as a fraction in lowest terms. All right. So if we're comparing 64 feet in 6 seconds, so first number's on top, and we can abbreviate, and 6 seconds on the bottom. Now again, the units aren't going to cancel, so we got to leave them. So the only thing we can do is reduce our numbers down, and I think 2 is the only number that goes into both of those. So 32 feet over 3 seconds, and that's in lowest terms. Now we're going to see that there's going to be other formats for these rates, but for now, if they say lowest terms, this is the way they want it. It can be improper, and that's okay. So just leave it just like that. All right, if we got 3,000 students over a 16-year period, so let's see, 3,000 students over 16 years. All right, so we want to divide out some numbers. So what goes into both of those? Well, 2 does. I think 4 does. And I even think 8 does. I think 8 will divide out of both of those. So 8 goes into that, I think, 375. So 375 students over 2 years. So, and again, that's as far down as we can reduce it. So it's in lowest terms. So that's what we want. Now, for the next one, 60 revolutions. I'll just abbreviate rev over 5 minutes. Well, what goes into both of those? Now, I'm pretty sure 5 does. Ends in 0, so 5's got to go into that. So that's going to give you 12 rev over 1 minute. Okay. Kind of funky because it's got that 1 in the bottom, so that actually means something. Let's read down below. So instead of writing 12 revolutions over 1 minute, we can also write 12 revolutions per minute, or we can write it with a slash. So that is a nice feature when there's a 1 in the bottom. So this is an example of a unit rate. To obtain a unit rate, we must completely divide the numerator by the denominator. All right, so that's pretty quick, actually. So we could have wrote this as 12 revolutions per minute. And we could have done that to these problems up above. So again, this is the lowest terms version. But if we wanted to write the unit rate, all we got to do is divide that. So if we said 32 divided by 3, we get that, 10.666666. So, or 10.66, I'll just round it, feet per second. So it's a little bit nicer format for your answer, but only use that format when it's asked. So be careful. If it wants lowest terms, it wants it like this. If it wants a unit rate, then it wants it like this. So we're going to see some more examples on the next page. So they want you to find each unit rate. So all we have to do is just divide this on the calculator. So we just want 245 divided by 35. Well, let's see what that is. 245 divided by 35 equals 7. So we get 7, but 7 what? What are the units that are going to be following it? So the units on top were the presents. So the presents is going to have to come first. So 7 presents per, well, not per children, but per child. Yeah, per child. So pretty quick. If it's a unit rate, you could just use your calculator. I know you like that. All right, so let's do the next one. 12 errors in 8 hours. All right, so we just need 12 over 8. So 12 divided by 8 equals 1.5. So 1.5 what? Yeah, so errors per hour. So the person makes 1.5 errors per hour. I don't know how you have a half an error, but that's the unit rate. Okay, let's try one more. $3.50 for 50 feet. So again, we got 3.50 divided by 50, which equals, let's do it on the calculator. 3.50 divided by 50 equals 0.07. Okay, so 0.07 what? So remember, this was dollars. So that's going to have to be 7 cents. So $7 or $3.50 over 50 feet reduces to 7 cents, or 0.07 of a dollar per foot. So be careful with those units. Now I know you're thinking cents. How could I do this in cents? Well, you could write it like this. So be careful. These are the same thing. So $0.07 is the same as 7 cents. So be careful with those units when you're talking about money. It's easy to get those screwed up. So, okay. But now we found something new. If we are finding the price of something per unit quantity, then we are finding the unit price. So it's not just a unit rate, it's a unit price. So to find the unit price, divide the price by the quantity. So price by the quantity. Price first. All right, so let's take a look at this one. If we got 65 ounces for 78 cents, well, so 65 over 78, right? Something's fishy here, because we got ounces is first and cents is second. So this is actually backwards. So we want the money on top and the ounces on the bottom. There's where it should be. So now 78 divided by 65 equals 1.2. So 1.2 what? Cents is on top, so 1.2 cents per ounce. Whew. All right, $4 billion over a 5-month plan. Well, that is money, so that's going to go on top. Now, as far as the units, we're going to be taking care of that in a second, but really the heart of it is the 4 over the 5. So 4 over 5 is 0.8. So now we got to be careful with the units. So we know there's a dollar sign in here, so that's going to have to go in. But the billion is important too. So we want to make sure we put that in. So $0.8 billion per month. So now, could we write this $0.8 billion differently? Of course. We could write it in millions. We could write it with all the zeros if we wanted to. So whatever floats your boat. But this would be acceptable. So, okay. let's take a look at one, maybe two more examples, and then we'll cut off this video. All right. Find the best buy based on the cost per unit for each item round to the nearest thousandth if necessary. Okay, so remember, thousandth is 3 decimal places. So, okay, so we're comparing 2 ounces of black pepper for $2.25 to 4 ounces of black pepper for $3.65. So which is the better buy? They're saying based off the cost per unit or the unit price. So if we found the unit price in each of these cases, we should be able to see which one's cheaper. So remember, money on top, quantity on the bottom. So if we divide this, we're going to get 1.125. Now, what are the units? Remember, money was on top, so $1.12.5 roughly per ounce. Now, if we do the other one, well, we're going to get money again. Well, that goes in 9 times and 125. So in this case, it's a little over 91 cents per ounce. So definitely we can see this one is the cheaper one. So there's the best buy. All right. Let's do a threefold case. So we got to find 3 unit prices. Now, you can put it anywhere you want. If you want, let's just go straight across. So 249 divided by 12. And let's do that in the calculator just to make sure. Oops. 2.49 divided by 12 is, so 0.2075 per ounce. Don't forget the dollar sign. All right. How about 289 over 14? Well, let's see. 289 divided by 14. Ooh. 2064 per ounce. Now, I'm going beyond the nearest thousandth. I'm going 4 decimal places. So, you know, if we did round it to 4, or excuse me, to 3, it should still be easy to determine which one's cheaper. But in this case, it's pretty close. So we do want to be careful. And then the last one, let's see how close that one is. $3.96 divided by 18. Oh, that one's a flat 22 cents per ounce. So, well, which one's the cheapest? Not by much, but that middle case, 14 ounces for $2.89. So that's our best buy. Okay. Now you're probably saying, where would I ever see this? Well, I'm glad you asked, because it's in the grocery store. If you go to Price Chopper, you're going to see that they have 2 price tags on everything. And one is in white and one is in orange. And that price tag in orange is the unit price. Now, the usual rule of thumb is that you buy in bulk because it's got a cheaper unit price. So even though you're paying more on the front end, you're getting a cheaper price by unit in the long run. So something to think about. Okay, one more problem and then we'll end. Russ works 7 hours to earn $85.82. What is his pay rate per hour? So how would we divide that? What goes on top? You guessed it. It's going to be the money. The money is still on top. That's kind of like the price. So if we divide that, let's see what we get. 85.82 divided by 7 equals 12.26. So he gets $12.26 per hour. All right, so let's stop there, take a break, and then come back for the rest.